Hi everyone, so today I am doing a 3 looks 1 palette using the brand new Sultry palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. This palette is launching for the holidays. It should be available on all stores, at least online, all retailers. I just dug my nail into it. Love that. So this is a cool tone palette consisting of 7 shimmers and 7 mattes. So I did 3 different looks. I did a halo eye. I did kind of a blown out smoky liner. I guess for both of the looks I did a smoky liner. Let me know if you guys want me to keep doing these videos, and I had a lot of fun with it. Okay, so I tried to zoom you guys in a little bit. So I'm sorry if you can see my disgusting skin. But this is what we're going to do. I'm going to do a halo eye, a little bit of a grungier look. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a really fluffy blending brush and I'm going to pick up birch mixed with twig. And I'm going to use that as my transition color. And I'm really just going to fluff this all over my crease. I'm not really hitting the lid too much. Sometimes when I'm blending, I'll take the brush and go all over. I'm not doing that so much because I want to keep the center light. Because these shadows are super pigmented, the brush picks up a lot of product. So when I'm placing it down, I like to place it on the outer corner and inner corner right before I go in and blend. The shadows are pigmented, but they do blend out. But I just like to place the color where I want the most definition. And then I can go ahead and blend it out. So if I were doing a more, if I were keeping the definition on the outer corner, I would only place the color right on my outer lid. But because I'm doing a halo eye, I'm doing the outer lid and the inner lid. I'm going to take a smaller blending brush with the same 2 shades on it, and I'm going to run that all under my eye. Normally I would stop halfway, but because I'm doing a halo eye, I really want to wrap this color around. That brush had a little bit of red on it. Love that. I'm really smoking it out. This look is a little bit grungier, so I'm a little bit more careless with the blending and the placement of the colors. I mean, I do want my eyeshadow to look or to be blended so that it looks intentional. However, I'm not going to care too much if it comes down too low or whatnot. Then because this brush is a little bit smaller, I'm just going to take twig, not mixed with anything, and place it on the outer and inner corner again, blending this into our transition color. Our big transition brush, and go over everything, and I'm going to do this in between every step just to make sure everything is seamlessly blended. Next, I'm going to take a mixture of 3 colors just because there's not really an in-between. There's no in-between medium brown. It just kind of goes from transition to deep, but that's okay because we can just mix the colors. So I'm going to mix twig, dystopian, and slate, and I'm going to place this on my outer and inner corner again, and then blending. So basically every color that I go in with, at least every matte that goes in my crease, I will start out by placing it on my outer and inner corner, and then I'll go ahead and blend it out. And it's just the slow buildup of colors, and the only real difference is I'm keeping it lower and more defined each time. Then I'm going to pick up dystopian by itself and keep that really defined. So notice as I'm blending, I am going all the way over and kind of connecting this gap. That's because I have hooded eyes. If you have deep set eyes, you might want to just keep it all the way blank, not connecting the shadows at all. Otherwise it'll further the illusion of deep set eyes and it'll just look even more deep set than they already are. On a smaller pencil brush, I'm going to take Dystopian and I'm going to run that all the way along my lash line on my lower lash line. I'm not doing the halo effect on my lower lash line because for me, I don't like the way it makes my eyes look. I want to keep the attention up here, and I don't really, that's when I find that my eyes start to kind of look not sunken in, quite the opposite actually. They look like they're bulging out of my face, but not in a flattering way. On the same pencil brush, I'm going to intensify Dystopian just because the brush is a little bit smaller and I can get into my inner corner. Going in with my big brush, making sure everything is blended. We don't want any harsh lines. Then I'm going to go in with the black shade. I'm going to take the smallest amount. I'm really tapping off most of it, and I'm going to place this only on the outer corner because I don't want it to be too intense on my inner corner. Then I'm going to smudge it along my lash line as a faux liner. And honestly, this will get diffused when I go in with my lid shade. And then whatever's left on the brush, I'll take under my eye. I'll just keep it all wrapped together. I'm going to take a little bit of Fresh on my brow bone just to clean things up just a little bit. It'll keep things from being too dark up here. I'm taking the shade Cyborg on a damp brush and putting that on the middle of my lid. This is not a cut halo eye, so I'm not having any harsh lines when I'm placing the shadow down. Right now, yes, there are some, but I'm going to go ahead and blend them out. I'm not keeping a really defined line up at the top. Then I'm taking the shade Teak, and I'm going to use this to kind of blend Cyborg into the matte shades. So what I'm doing is placing that on the edges of the color. It kind of helps transition this intense silvery white shade into these cooler tone browns as well. So I'm just placing the shadow down and it looks insane. It looks like I don't know how to do makeup, which low-key I don't, but it's fine. I'm going to take my finger actually and slowly tap them into each other to at least blend the shimmers together. And then to blend the mattes, I'm going to take the shade Birch and tap that on top. It's a little bit more neutral as opposed to cool tone, just like Teak, so that'll help create a seamless blend. I'm basically just going to go ahead and apply all of my mattes. Then I'll take Dystopian mixed with Noir. I can't say it, the black shade, and I'm going to stamp that on my lash line. Because this is a grungier look, I'm just going to go in with mascara, no falsies, to keep the theme going. I don't want it to look overdone. Plus I feel if I add lashes, the effect of carelessness that I was going for isn't going to be as obvious. So I'm just going to go and apply mascara and then I'll come back to show you the finished look. So this is the finished look. Not my favorite, but it's there. Okay, so for this look, we're kind of winging it, but it's fine because I have a good feeling about this. And we're just going to get right into it. My eyes are already primed and set, and they will be in all of the looks. I'm going to go in with Birch as my transition color. And I'm going to place that on my outer corner and fluff it into my crease and really blowing it out. When I hold my brushes, I hold it at the very end so that I get the lightest touch and I let the brush do the work for me. I find that my shadows blend much more seamlessly this way as opposed to me holding the brush closer to the ferrule, because I'm the one controlling the brush and then I have too much pressure going in. Taking the shade Bloom on a MAC 217, I'm placing that on my outer corner and blending this up into my crease. And then I'm going back in with my transition brush to blend everything out, and I'm going to repeat this process until I get the pigmentation that I desire. When I place the color on my outer corner, I take it and I place it like a V, and then I slowly drag the color over almost to act as a liner, because I typically don't go in with a harsh liner, so this will give me the definition to my lashes that I need. I'm going to take the shade Dystopian to add definition to my crease, so I'm placing this lower than Bloom. I'm even kind of letting it peek through a little bit because there is quite a bit of contrast in the shades, but not to the point where they won't blend together. I feel that Bloom is the color that most people are going to be reaching for in this palette, or picking up the palette for. Oh wow, yep, I like that. And then I'm going to run over the edges of Dystopian with Bloom. I'm getting that pop of red, coralish back in there, and then I'm using my transition brush to make sure it's all blended. I'll probably go back in and do this a few times and intensify the colors. I'm just going to go in with Dystopian and run it along my lash line. Again, acting as a liner. Using Fresh to somewhat highlight my brow bone. I'm going to go in with Noir. I get so embarrassed saying that, and I'm really going to intensify my lower lash line and add some definition in the inner corner. I'm just taking the smallest amount. I really sounded like a robot when I said that. And just patting it right here, as you can see. I slowly take what's left on the brush and barely touching my lid, I will run it all the way from left to right. This is just going to add the slightest bit of definition, and it's really going to make the look cohesive. But I don't want it to be too intense, especially since this is not a cut crease. I'm taking my MAC 217, running over everything. It's a very repetitive process, but it's going to be worth it in the end. Otherwise, the look will look choppy and unblended and just not flattering. Taking Bloom mixed with Birch, I'm going to smudge this along the lower half of my eye space. I don't want to go all the way in because I don't want to close my eyes off. This is going to give me a very almond-like appearance. My eyes already are quite almond, so if anything, this is enhancing them. Then I'm going to take the fluffy transition brush with nothing extra on it and running along. So this entire look, the only time I added color to it is when I went in with my primary transition color. The rest of the time, I just blended with nothing over top of this. On a damp MAC 242, I'm going to take this shade on my lid, the shade Rose Quartz. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how to describe this color. Do you guys see that? You probably can't with the lighting, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous color. Probably my favorite out of the palette, to be honest. I'm going to take the shade Pearl and tap that on the very inner portion to bring some light in there. This will further enhance the almond eye illusion, or in my case, just enhancing that, since my eyes are very almond. Almond, you say yeah, almond. Okay, then I'm going to take the shade Teak. I always want to say Tweak, and I don't know about that. And I'm going to place that basically in the center of my lid. So I have the matte, I have this small little gap, and then I started with the shimmer shades. I'm going to place Teak right here to sort of blend the two together. I do this in another one of my eye looks. It's just a good shade because it's a little bit deeper, so it'll help create an easier transition. Then I'm going to go in with the shade Bloom and tap over it to also blend. I'm going to re-intensify the faux liner with the shadows from before. Like I said, a repetitive process, but definitely worth it. These kind of looks are worth taking your time for. Why is there an ice cream truck out at 6:30 when it's raining? Can somebody explain that to me? 6:30 at night. Ice cream truck. In the rain. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to take the shade Cinder and place that on the inner portion of my lower lash line. I like a little bit of shimmer in there. It helps open the eyes up. I'm going to curl my lashes and apply mascara. I think lashes are really suited for this look, however, I'm lazy. I went ahead and applied mascara, and I popped in a little bit of a nude liner to help open up my eyes a bit, just because the shadow had gotten onto my waterline and I didn't really want to close them anymore. This is the finished look. I feel ridiculous. Can you guess what I'm going to do first? I'm going to go in with Birch as my transition color. And I'm going to take this kind of high up in the crease. And I'm going to mix a little bit of Fresh to help blend it out a little bit, because I might have applied just a tad bit too much. Then I'm going to go in and layer that. Okay, then now I'm taking Birch and Dystopian mixed, tapping that on my outer corner, and I'm slowly going to work this into the crease, and I'm going to blend it all the way into my inner corner, because I kind of want a harsh contrast between the two shades when I go to cut my crease. So I'm just going back in, blending with my transition color, and I'm going in straight with Dystopian, and I'll place it the same area, maybe just a little bit lower. I just don't want to go in straight with the color because it is so intense, and I want to make sure that it seamlessly blends in. Don't worry about the shade on the lid. I know that's harsh and patchy, but I'm going to take care of that later. And just when I get to the inner corner, I don't want it to be as dark as it is on the outer corner. I still want to take the shade all the way in, but as I'm going more in, as I'm getting closer to the inner corner, I'm softening my touch. So the bristles go from really just stamping my eye basically to barely touching, and I'm really just letting the brush do the work for me. And throughout this process, because I do kind of get a little messy when I really want something blended, I'm going to take the shade Fresh. I'm going to blend that right kind of in my nose bridge region. I'm not really sure what you call this. Kind of where my nose meets my eyelid. I don't know. I love being a beauty guru. And I'm going to go in with several layers to intensify the color. And then I'll eventually go in with black. I'm going in with sort of a flat-ish pencil brush. It's really hard to describe. It's not a pencil brush, sorry, it's a blending brush. I'm going to pick up Birch and lay that on my lid, just sort of in the middle, preparing my lid. I am cutting the crease, but this is just going to make my job easier. Then I'm taking Dystopian, placing that on my outer corner, but this is just going to be a little bit more concentrated. Then I'm picking up the smallest amount of black, and I'm really just going to do a little bit of detail work when blending. I'm not even going to bother taking the shade all the way in because I don't want it to look too gray or harsh. Now I'm going to pick up some concealer. Placing that on my lids and defining my lid. So I decided I want to do more of a soft cut crease. I want the transition to not be so harsh. Now I'm going to pick up Fresh and lay that over the concealer. Then I'm going to redefine the colors on my outer corner. So I'm just picking up Dystopian. For a pop of color, I'm going to take Bloom and place it where Fresh meets Dystopian on my lid. And that looks super harsh right now, but we'll blend it out. And I'm kind of just tapping the edges, you know, doing everything I have to blend it out. Next I'm going to do kind of a bold liner, so I'm going to take some gel eyeliner. Next I'm going to take Dystopian halfway on my lower lash line. And I will just smoke that out with Birch. I'm going to use my Hourglass liner in the shade Meteorite to line my lower lash line. I'm going to highlight my inner corners using Pearl. I'm going to take Bloom right on my inner lash line for another pop of color. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do mascara and lashes, and I'll come back for the finished look. Alright everyone, this is the finished look. So bad at being a beauty guru. So this is the finished look using the new Sultry palette. I believe this is available in all stores now. I'm not sure if it's available in store yet, but it should be available online, Sephora and Ulta, as well as the Anastasia website itself. Overall, I think this palette is a nicely made palette consisting of all cool tones, and if you are into a more neutral or leaning towards cool tone looks, this is going to be the palette for you. You can create a number of very dramatic looks with this palette, but if you also want a more natural look, you can just go in with the shade Birch or even Twig and lay some of the shimmers on your lid. But overall, a stunning palette, and I think they did a great job on it. So if you enjoyed this video, even if you aren't looking to pick up the palette, maybe you like the looks or just the style of it, let me know by giving me a thumbs up and or leaving a comment down below. Make sure you subscribe, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.